Past few days have been absolutely hectic when referring to the crypto market. Right now we have the biggest giant that was in the crypto market after Binance, known as FTX, going bankrupt, and practically a lot of retail investors lost a whole lot of money. And me being one of those people, I figured I'd go ahead and make a video that kind of breaks down the 4 mistakes that I made as a beginner investor that you guys should avoid in the case that you want to invest into cryptocurrencies and you don't want to lose your money. Make sure you stay tuned throughout this entire video if you're trying to be as safe as possible and you're trying to minimize your losses, because I know that it's hard to lose money, and trust me, it's always the best thing to avoid making those types of mistakes that I'll be going over in this video. And the first mistake being not storing your cryptocurrencies on a cold wallet. Pretty much a cold wallet is an offline location that you could send your cryptocurrencies to that allows hackers from being able to take it the traditional ways. The traditional ways is just breaking in by just hacking onto a website, because it's going to be activated to different online servers, and of course by accessing your passwords. Normally you're going to have one password set for regular sites such as FTX, Robinhood, Coinbase, and so on and so forth, but you always want to make sure that you're transferring all your money off of those platforms onto a safer account, which would be your cold wallet. The cold wallet is going to give you a long list of passwords or a long list of codes that only you're supposed to have, and you're not supposed to share this with anybody. And what this does is it allows you to be the only person to access your wallet in the case that you want to see your cryptocurrencies or withdraw them. And by you being the only person who has access to this, you don't have to worry about losing money in market crashes like what just happened with FTX, and of course you don't have to worry about hackers that take over an online database and steal your information, because that's always the worst thing that could happen when it comes to investing money anywhere, and you always want to avoid those. So make sure that if you are new to investing, that you go ahead and open up a cold wallet account. And one that I'm using at the moment is MetaMask, because it's pretty simple to use, and once you just watch a few tutorial videos, trust me, everything will be cake. So if you guys do want to make sure your crypto is safe, download a cold wallet or go buy a USB ledger and transfer your cryptocurrencies over to make sure you don't lose any of it. And another plus that you guys always will hear when it comes to cryptocurrencies is being paid out an annual yield when it comes to storing your crypto on specific sites. But this is the next mistake that you always want to avoid. It's obviously a beautiful thing to go ahead and chase high percentages and get high returns on your investments, but make sure that you're not chasing annual yields as a reason to invest with certain platforms. As I noticed that the platform gave around an 8% APY, which is an annual percentage yield on the cryptocurrencies that you hold on their platform. So by pretty much leaving my cryptocurrencies to sit there, I was getting paid, and that was one thing that really attracted me to the platform, because it almost seemed as though it was like a dividend stock that's paying you out consistently. I trusted the platform, and obviously the annual percentage yield was very attractive and appealing at the time being. So that was one mistake that I really made. You never want to be chasing these numbers, because obviously not all the time will they be true. So always make sure that you guys do your research before you go invest on a company just because of its annual percentage yield, because that could always just be a made up number, and you always want to make sure that there's some type of statistics that back up the actual math behind this percentage. So always avoid these beautiful numbers, because they're not going to always be true. Another mistake that I made as a beginner investor was trusting the media. When it comes to media, it could be just watching YouTube on your phone, seeing a billboard outside, or just watching TV and seeing an advertisement pop up. Media is always going to influence your decision, and it's always vital that you make sure that whatever you're thinking about is not only influenced by the media but also backed up by research. Obviously FTX has some huge partners such as Stephen Curry, Naomi Osaka. You have the Miami Heat who promoted them, creating the FTX arena, and a bunch of big YouTubers who promoted them. But you always want to make sure that whatever you're investing in, you've done your own prior research for. Because one thing is, those people are getting paid regardless of what happens to the company. So you want to make sure that you're doing your research, because as a retail investor, you're not getting the opportunities that those other people get. They're getting some huge checks based on what they say online. And of course, if they influence your decision, they'll get paid more, because the more people that sign up with them, the more money they get paid by the company. So the media is definitely not something you want to trust. And a lot of people that are promoting these types of products or these types of companies don't necessarily do the required research to really understand it fully, because at the end of the day, this is just another paycheck opportunity for them, and regardless of what happens, they still got paid before everything went bad. So if you're not doing your research, just believe that you're going to be on the wrong side of the equation, and you never want that to happen. So just don't let the media influence your decision, and always keep an open mind to the fact that everything could be too good to be true, because at the end of the day, everything could be appearing to go good, but if you don't do your own research, there could be a whole lot going behind the scenes that you don't know of. So make sure that you're doing your research and being as open-minded as possible. And as a beginner investor, another mistake that you need to avoid is putting all your money on one platform. Thankfully for myself, I didn't smack all my money onto FTX, and I still had some money sitting in different cold wallets that I had, like my MetaMask account, which was very minimal, but it was still money sitting there, and on Coinbase. Pretty much you always want to diversify your money amongst different platforms. If you're not really planning on storing all your money on a cold wallet. Diversify your money amongst different companies, because if one company goes bad, then at least you have the others that you could count on. And of course, you should only be investing in companies that have a trusted history, because you don't want to just put your money into different scams, because you're just going to get scammed by all of them in different intervals. The whole point of diversifying on different platforms is just to make sure that if one platform does go bad, you have the other ones that you could rely on. If you have others to rely on, then you don't lose all your money, because all your money was never sitting in one spot. So it pretty much just goes with the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You never want to drop that basket and have all your eggs shattered. So at least if you have different baskets with all your eggs separated, one basket could break, but you still have all the other ones to depend on. And make sure that when you're investing with any platform, they have a good customer service team. Because one thing that I struggled with FTX was that every time that I would try to contact the customer service department, especially right now when everything's really hot, I can't get a hold of anybody. Because number one, their platform wasn't really the best for customer service in terms of being able to send an email out and get a response within 24 hours. And you couldn't really open a ticket and expect a response as fast as possible, because they would just say that their system is very backed up and there's a lot of people emailing back and forth. So if you're going to invest with any platform, make sure that you have the ability to just call them on the phone, or you could shoot them an email and get a fast reply. And one company that I do commend for this is Robinhood, because as soon as I had issues with my crypto, I was able to shoot them a call, and 30 minutes later they got back to me, answered all of my questions, shot me a support email just to follow up, and they texted me through the app. So that's really like one reason why I like Robinhood as a platform overall, is just because of the customer service. And I definitely rated a 5 out of 5 just because they're so easy to contact. But if you ever do invest with any companies, you want to make sure that you could always speak to somebody in the case that you have an issue, because if you cannot, then how are you going to resolve it? All you got is YouTube, and even YouTube these days isn't the most reliable source to go to in terms of fixing all your problems. So overall, like, I've made mistakes as a beginner investor, and I would hate for other people to make these exact same mistakes. So if you take these mistakes that I made into consideration to avoid making them for yourself, then I can guarantee that you're going to have a lot less stress than I did. Because losing money with FTX sucked, and it wasn't the worst thing that happened to me, but obviously since it wasn't expected, it kind of brought down my mood for a day or two. So if you don't want to lose money, just take these steps into consideration. And of course, if any of these tips are going to be useful to you, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because it truly does help me out. Right now I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I would love if you guys would support me. And of course, if you guys would like to see any videos, make sure you drop a comment down below telling me what you'd like to watch, and I'll see if I can make a video on it. Besides that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.
See you, chump.